A lot of y'all have asked what it's like working with Millie. What do you have in common with your character? And your mom happens to be one of my favorite people in the entire world, and so if you could play any other character in Stranger Things, who would it be? Fun fact,
It's so cool. This was the scene I did today.
that for you. Did you like that? I like that I'm so nervous because it means I care. Eager Toast 11263. Did you have to shave your head or is it just a wig? I absolutely shaved my head and I freaking loved it because at the time I saw it as this ability to shave off old parts of my identity that I no longer wanted to service me. Then I had a full-on identity crisis and second-guessed every single aspect of who I am as a person. I'm better now. Ulan MQ asks, 11 annoyed you as a character? No, 2 wasn't annoyed by her. He just hated that the attention was being taken from him. If anything, he thought that she was weak. Before, of course, she kicked his ass. Perul underscore 246 asks, what do you have in common with your character in ST4? Wanting approval from our parents. At the end of the day, 2 just wants Papa to love him and to respect him. Violetta.Yumi. First off, Violetta is the name of one of my best friends. Second, how does it feel knowing that you are the Brazilians' favorite experiment? Freaking crazy, man. I really want to know what exactly happened in Brazil to where that's where 2 is just blowing up. Millie underscore Lockhart asks, how was it playing 2? Was it really intense playing the role or was it really fun? It was both. Honestly, 2 is every actor's dream, especially considering this is the first big thing I ever did. What a blessing. I get to show my intensity in every single scene I did. I get to show both the cruelness and I get to show the vulnerability. There was actually, when we did the electrocution scene, I felt kind of bad for Matthew because during one of the 2 shots we did, my voice was gone. Quinn's Lover, I've seen all your comments. You're amazing. Thank you so much for all the support. You asked, when Papa put the shock collar on 2, what was his first thought / what did you think of during that scene that captured the entire ST fandom's heart? First off, that makes me so happy. I didn't know that scene was even happening until either the day before or 2 days before because they were so secretive with the project. They only sent me the scenes that I was a part of, but they were too secretive because they forgot to send me all of the scenes that I was a part of. As the actor in that scene, I was super anxious because I knew this would be the defining moment of this character. It gave me the opportunity to show that vulnerability that explains everything this character is doing. And if I mess it up, boom, everyone's just like, he's just a bully, screw him, I don't give a crap. 2 just freezes. Vision Footwear LLC, were you really holding back when you went up against 11? Yes and no. Was I holding back in that moment? Absolutely not. But I do think 2 thinks that he's technically holding back because he's been destroying the numbers for the last probably 15-20 minutes. I've been tired. I've beat all these other numbers. You weren't facing me at my best. Elv multi underscore, how did you react when you got the role? I lost my mind. You had to do a mandatory 5-day quarantine and then you'd get COVID tested. If you tested positive, there would be a huge chance that they would just recast you and you wouldn't be able to do it. So I got so protective. I would triple mask up, double glove up everywhere I went. Honestly, that was the first thing I ever booked after auditioning for 2 years. So the elation of finally being chosen, indescribable. Hey, Matthew Norton Photos, what's up? What was the longest amount of time that you had fake blood on your face while filming? Honestly, the entire day, especially when we had the eye blood, we'd get it applied in the morning and then take it off at the end of the day. Sagra asks, how did you feel about your character? I loved him. You see him at first and you want to judge. You want to think that he's just this douchey teen that is being a dick for no reason, just to be a dick. But the more I got to really explore him, the more I started to really see how tortured and how tragic his whole story is. I mean, you have this kid where all he's ever known is this lab. He's treated as just another cog in Dr. Brenner's machine. No matter how much pain Dr. Brenner puts him through, he genuinely loves him. A lot of it could just be Stockholm Syndrome, but another side of it is that, I mean, this is the only parental figure in his entire life. And it especially makes the shock collar scene that much more tragic because he's being mutilated by the only person that he admires and respects in the entire world. While he doesn't go about it in the best way, I just could connect with just how frustrating it would be to be in his situation. And also, I have superpowers. And I destroy all the numbers. Like, that's just cool. I don't destroy them, but I beat them all. A lot of y'all have asked what it's like working with Millie. She's incredible. I learned so much from her. She was so grounded and down to earth, and she just caught me by surprise because I think you go in to work with a child actor that has had so much success and you think that they're going to be an entitled brat. For her to not only not be that, but to also be so thoughtful as to remember every single person's name on set, that's huge. It's why I'm honestly so thankful that she's one of the role models for this next generation of women that are growing up. Like my sister, Millie Bobby Brown, is one of her biggest role models, and I'm just so happy that people have her to look up to. Leismeyer asks, if you could play any other character in Stranger Things, who would it be? Fun fact, I actually read for Eddie Munson. Joseph Quinn, wildly better for Eddie Munson than I ever would have been, so he deserved the role. When it comes to who I would personally rather play and who I think I would be best suited for, my favorite character would be Steve because he has the best arc. Like, he has the most dramatic contrast between season 1 and season 4, and as an actor, that's just so fun to play. Who of the cast I would probably be best suit for? Every actor is perfectly cast, and so this is just in a world where I'm not depriving the world of this other thing. Vecna or Billy, I think, would be the two I'd be most suited for. Eugene_D asks, how was it filming with famous people? Like filming with anybody else. After so much time on set, it just becomes normalized. Who's your first friend on the set of Stranger Things? I actually worked with Erica Laffin a couple of years before we filmed when I was a photo double on The Gifted. And so it was cool because we saw each other on the call sheet and then we were like, yo! Not literally that, but in that same energy. But the first friend that I like made was my boy Luke Bambrick, who I love so much. He's the only person I actually went and hung out with regularly outside of set. We would watch Chernobyl up in the hotel room. We went to go explore the real Hawkins Lab, which is this abandoned place in Atlanta. He's such a badass. You should go follow him. He has such a good heart, and I cannot say enough good things about that man. So Luke, if you're watching, you're a badass. By wishing I could be this social butterfly, it's also devaluing the power that I do have. Aerodasi.mpf asks, what's your dream when it comes to acting? Just be a working actor. I think it would be awesome to be on my own series just because you are making consistent money. You get to go to work every day and constantly be creatively fulfilled, but just working consistently. _J Lucino asks, if you could learn any language instantly, which one would it be? Portuguese, since pretty much everybody that likes my work is from Brazil. Rainy Days During Fall asks, do you like reading? If so, what are your favorite books? I actually am a crazy person that reads while walking, sometimes on the treadmill, sometimes in a nature park where I get bugs all over me and all over the pages. If you go to my podcast page, People Spooning Podcast, you can actually see a bunch of my book recommendations. So far of 2022, my favorites have been Nowhere Girl by Cheryl Diamond, Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, The Midnight Library by Matthew Haig, and of course The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is also my favorite movie of all time. It's.ems.ig asks, who would you love to work with someday? Matthew McConaughey. I love that man. So I love Dak Shepard too, don't get me wrong, but Matthew McConaughey, he's a Texan. I have demolished his book Greenlights 5 times at this point. If I was rodeo clown number 2, I'm sure you could tell by my weirdiness. I just stopped being able to talk. Lily Keene, I would love to work with you because first, I think our energies would bounce off pretty well. Also, your mom happens to be one of my favorite people in the entire world, and so it'd be super cool to work with her daughter. Ziggy's story. First off, I love all your comments. Thank you so much for all the support. What's your favorite movie of all time? It's Perks of Being a Wallflower. I have never related more to a main character. The thing I'm always told is that I'm very mature for my age, and it's because I got the opportunity to do a lot of introspection, and I know myself very well, which means I carry a lot more insight than people that might not know themselves very well. The flip side of that, though, it's prevented me from fully participating in life. And I get so trapped in my own introspection that it's like I'm in my own little world. And so finding ways to better venture outside of that world is something I'm constantly trying to do. Zildgok_ asks, what made you want to be an actor? It gave me an easy way to make friends because I had huge social anxiety, as I'm sure everybody that went to school with me in Berkner High School, shout out, probably could attest to. When I had lines to say to people, it made it super easy to break the ice and break the tension, and so it was a lot easier for me to open up. The more I got into it, the more I started to love it from the vulnerability aspect, because I have this weird thing where I don't like people knowing that I respond to any sort of stimulus, and it's why for the longest time, even something as simple as my grandmother scratching my back, if she were to ask me, do you like when I scratch your back? I loved when I would have said no. Acting gave me the ability to express vulnerability I'd been suppressing under this smokescreen of a character. A huge part of the job is introspection. It forces you to get outside of your own shell and to also learn about who you are, because the more you're able to channel who you are, the more you honor that, the more authentic you can show up in your day-to-day life, the more authentic your relationships become, and the more fulfilled you feel because you're no longer putting on any sort of facade, and you know that people love you for the actual you. Peppa_Peem asks, how much do you love your fans? I love y'all so much. I really do. That's why we all do it. We do it to have an effect. I think y'all will help me stay accountable to be the best version of myself, because having people that are watching you means that you have a responsibility to show up for them. And I feel very honored that I have such a supportive group of people that are supporting me as I go into whatever this next phase of my career might hold. So I appreciate y'all so much, and I'm gonna make you proud. I am just blown away by how crazy y'all have been going in the comments with support and love, and I throw all that love right back at you. Brazil, I love you so, so much. I'm gonna start learning Portuguese on Duolingo so I can start interacting with y'all. I don't know what else to say, so I'm just gonna go.